Anyway, we had some numbers to catch up on the what I mentioned the other day about a $145 million. Let me phrase it the way I said it: $145 million payroll, and not spending a single day in a baseball season above 500.
All right. Well, Scott in Davenport, Iowa,
our guy,
always does this. We ask a question. Next thing we know, a treatise shows up in my email inbox, and it's entitled "The Worst Team for the Money." The question was asked on Wednesday's show whether this year's Cubs team was the worst for the money paid, as well as whether a team with a payroll this high has ever been at or below 500 for the entire year. Good questions, and I couldn't figure out how to answer them, but it came to me later. Your questions were perceptive, and Terry's answer was pretty darn close. Salary data is only available from 1985 on, so that's the limit for teams to look at. My criteria to review a team were twofold. One, the team had to finish with a losing record. Two, the team had to meet a certain threshold for a metric I derived, don't ask, and be in the top 10 in MLB payroll. This effectively eliminates teams like the Pirates and the Royals, who suck to high heaven but at least are cheap about it. Given that, I found 9 teams worth looking at.
Okay.
The 2009 Mets, 70 and 92, 123 million. This is all rounded to the nearest million. Third payroll in Major League Baseball. Mets started out slow, seemed to wake up for a couple months, then tanked after they all got hurt. The 2007 White Sox, 72 and 90, $96 million. And that year, of course, if you talk to Farmio, was when Pablo Ozuna got hurt. The Sox weren't allowed to be good anymore. But that was, if I remember correctly, that was that was also the year of Ryan Buckvich and DeJuan Day and the pitchers.
What kind of pitcher is he?
Right-handed and
Mulch
bad.
a fish.
No, he's not. The pitchers that were called for the bullpen but then refused to go in, that was a dramatic, entertaining year. The 09 Astros, 74 and 88, $87 million. I think Jason brought those up. The 95 Blue Jays in a strike-shortened season, 56 and 88. Well, that would be 94 then, right? It was
94,
a strike year.
Yeah.
$30 million.
Yeah, but the 95 season was started late.
Right, that's right.
Wow.
The 2004 Mets. So an ignominious distinction for
here.
the Mets. 71 and 91 for $74 million. That was 9th overall. The 2003 Mets. 66 and 95, $112 million payroll, which was 2nd overall. It says Terry nailed it when he suggested the Mets today, and this one was so close, just a brief spurt at the beginning of the year that had them just barely over 500, because the graphs are showing what teams were over 500 here, and almost that Mets team, just barely. He said, as for the big discrepancy between the 03 and 04 salaries, I can't explain it, but the only real move I saw was losing Jeremy Burnitz's $12 million plus salary.
Jeremy Burnitz, a great Cub.
Think about that for a second.
What a great Cubs.
$12 million at the time for Jeremy Burnitz. The 92 Dodgers were 63 and 99 for $42 million. That was the number 2 overall payroll. Think about that. $42 million, number 2 payroll. So close again. They just barely got over 500. The 2002 Cubs, 67 and 95 for $73 million. Money well spent indeed. A team that managed to be at 500 for either the 3rd or 4th game of the year. The amazing thing is how well they rebounded in 2003.
They did.
He says the clear and unambiguous winner, the 88 Braves, were 54 and 106. A salary, a total of $12 million, which was 9th overall. He said, this is by far the best example of no bang for the buck. He says, and they never were 500.
Okay.
How about them 2010 Cubs? As of Wednesday, he's got the graph right here. 50 and 70, $146 million. So the bottom line, forget the weird ratios. It says it all. 9 teams in Major League history have had payrolls of at least $145 million. The Yankees from 2004 on, and this year's Cubs and Red Sox. None of them, except these Cubs, were even close to being 20 games under 500. And all those other teams of at least $145 million finished well over 500. Indeed, 23 teams have had payrolls over $100 million, and only 4 of them finished below 500. He says, as far as I'm concerned, the 2010 Cubs